My next poem that I wrote myself is a sestina, and I'm also reading it in memory of my dad, because he said if I ever, that he thought this was the poem that should be anthologized out of all the poems that I've written before he died. And it's called Description of Energy Used, and that was what it said on the gas bill every month, which I thought was really an unusual phrase. Description of energy used, and then the first 6 lines are a quote from Arthur Rimbaud, and then all the rest of them are my poem. So I guess I'll go like this when the quote ends. A description of energy used. At last, O happiness, O reason, I brushed from the sky the azure that is darkness, and I lived gold spark of pure light. Out of joy, I took on an expression as clownish and blank as possible. With all the energy I could muster, it was possible at last I could find it within me to transcend all reason. Having all my faculties intact, I find the sky clownish, and beyond a reasonable doubt, you have the hawk's azure gaze staring holes through the ice, where we once had the great joy to find you underwater where we all had lived. Beyond the Aster and Zinnia, we all had lived through these times such as these, where the marriage of possible forms bring us beyond what you would call hope or even joy. I survived at a time when all hope of food and reason were destroyed. Even motorcycles brought that azure glance once associated with the ridiculous and clownish. The mylar screen through which we all stare appears clownish beside the rainforest we mow in hope of a hamburger azure on the grill, where the lemur, 3-toed sloth, and toucan lived. Jesuits swam and cannibals sang Ave Maria. Anything was possible amongst leaves and their myriad of veins, and there was no reason to believe anything different. All could be a phantasm of joy. That delicate and wing-like anomaly once known as joy, at times a circus of Dada, at others a serene, clownish approximation of existentialism, Emerson without reason, Thoreau with a landlord, responsible for all he lived for, no rent check. With land, all could be possible. Vegetables on the table and the sun on the lake azure. What sense could the sailors make of the sky azure with no sextant scope of stars, a bottle of amber joy? Some say that without sense all can be quite possible, crossing the plains or oceans where all savages clownish like Buster Keaton in a beach party filmed, where all lived without worries, an endless luau without thought of reason. At last, without reason, a brush of light painting the sky azure, a clownish joy with all things possible. And a sestina is this poem where there's 6 line stanzas.